Hi, I'm Ann Butera, and I'm so glad to have you here today in my studio. You might notice there are now doors there in my wall where there was just a window. It's been wonderful, but it's also made things a little chaotic here. So I just wanted to check in and show you what's been going on because it's been a while since I've been here. In my last video, I talked about my plans for my new studio, and at that point, I thought the doors weren't going to arrive until November. Then, in the beginning of August, I had to quickly pack up my studio. I got a call from the construction company and learned our doors were in and they were ready to begin work on the deck and the doors. I had settled into my studio at that point and was eager to begin working in my new space, but it wasn't to be quite yet. Our yard is so small and things were a bit cramped throughout the process. There wasn't much space for the materials and all their tools. First, they dug the holes for the deck supports, so in addition to working around all my gardens, they had to work around those holes and the pile of dirt while they removed the siding and cut the hole in the wall. All the while, my studio was packed away. I was impatient and frustrated with my studio packed up. I couldn't work on the projects I knew I needed to finish. The process was also complicated by the fact that we had to wait for permits. But isn't that often the case? Life never quite goes how we think it will. I'm not great at going with the flow, and this was definitely a test in letting go. At the same time, I was getting more and more excited watching everything come together. I was amazed by how bright my studio was with these new doors, and seeing the footings of the deck begin to take shape helped me to more clearly visualize the finished project. I made the best of my days of waiting, working on what I could and trying to savor the joys and beauties of my garden in the meantime. I took a couple of weekend trips with my girlfriends and my parents, and Matthias and I took some time off together too. But although it didn't feel that way at the time, the project was quickly finished. It was fun to watch the progress, and once everything was put back together, my new space truly was a dream come true. I jumped back into working on my projects, focusing on finishing up the class on color I'd been planning and working on since before moving my studio. It always takes me a bit of time to get into the rhythm of filming and editing, and once a class is flowing, I can't seem to work on anything else. It was wonderful to have my new space, and I filmed a lot in and out of my garden. My garden provides so much color inspiration, and I was happy to be able to use it in this new class. One of the goals I have for filming and editing these YouTube videos is getting better at making filming and editing a normal part of my everyday schedule, so class production is less all-consuming. I haven't gotten there yet. I don't have a good flow for my work, and I don't have a schedule I can stick to. But I'm learning again and again how important it is to give myself grace. I hope you can give yourself grace when you fall short of your goals too. Filming always has its own unique challenges, and this time was no different. Again, I'm constantly learning to let go and to go with the flow, even if I'm not a very good student at those lessons. It's easier to laugh with myself when things get bumpy. I'm far less critical of myself than I once was. In some of my classes, I put together a bloopers reel, but for this class, I just wanted to get it finished. I thought you might like to see a bit of that here. Oops, wrong glasses. And the next lesson. I'm delighted with how my class turned out and was relieved to be able to move on to other things once it was finished. Of course, I had fantasies about getting my studio back into order and finishing up the decorating projects I still want to do in this space, but sadly, my next project created as much chaos in my studio as filming did. I am the guest artist for October at Viva Gallery in my small town of Viroqua, Wisconsin, and I had to frame my paintings for the show. It certainly felt as if I was cutting things close, finishing up my preparations just in time. Whenever I work with my art like this, it brings me so much joy. Looking at my paintings, immersing myself in my art is a reminder of how special my life is and how much I love my art. Sometimes it's easy to forget. In addition to framing my paintings, I had to get my new calendars ready for sale because I wanted to offer them at the gallery in addition to paintings, prints, and note cards. My calendars are a yearly tradition and they'll be in my web shop soon. It was such fun to pack them up using my new studio space. Matthias built a workspace in my closet and it's just what I imagined it would be. I will definitely share a full studio tour sometime soon and show you all the fun nooks and crannies. My studio feels like it's a part of my garden and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. There's not too much of the gardening season left here in Wisconsin and I'm trying to savor every moment I can.
You like eggplant? You have drool on your ear? You have drool on your ear from playing with your sister? Yeah.
It was a challenging gardening year. I know many of us have had weather-related challenges this year. Here, we were in a drought until very recently. I'm grateful my garden was as lush as it was and that I was able to harvest lots of delicious fruits and veggies in addition to enjoying all of the beautiful flowers that are still blooming. These late season flowers always seem especially sweet to me. I leave a lot of the flowers in the garden for the birds and the insects, especially at this time of year, but I can't help but bring a few in. Now that I've finished those big projects, I have been making a point to get back to my sketchbooks. It feels so good. Tonight is the opening reception for my show at Viva Gallery. If you're in Viroqua, I'd love to see you there. I hope you are finding many little joys to savor, that you're embracing your creativity and giving yourself grace when you fall short. Thanks so much for joining me today. I will see you next time.